So this year, we've kind of given ourselves a challenge. Don't worry, this is not a dangerous challenge. It's a quite positive challenge. We live in a pretty expensive city. Of course, you know it's Dublin because why else are you watching the video? But one of the things we realized during the pandemic, lots of people, according to some news reports, have actually been able to save more money. Of course, with the lockdowns and the not being able to go outside and ordering less takeout maybe, especially all your great vacations that would have taken out, thousands of euros out of your account. And what I realized is that people are taking this money and trying to do things, save it for later. Some people are, they're trying to buy a flat. Some people are saving for those same vacations that they've missed out. And that's when we started thinking, we too should do some sort of saving. Hi everyone, I'm the Rum.
And I'm the Wine.
Now, from our last video, one of our last videos of last year, we talked about how we looked at our 2020 spending for the year and thought that we overspent a bit on stuff. This was not actually fully true.
Overall, once we started looking at the whole year, we didn't do too badly. It's just that moving to a new area, especially a more expensive area with higher rent and having to get new stuff for the flat, did mess up our finances a little bit. So we want to make sure we start on the right foot into the new year. But before we get into that, do make sure to like and subscribe, ring the notification bell, all those things to make sure you get to see our future videos too. The reason we wanted to set ourselves this challenge of trying to see how much can we save this year is just to give us a general idea, like how much would we realistically be able to save in a year, because if you hear about how expensive certain things are, it can be very daunting if you then also look at the rent that just came off of your account and you see a lot of your salary gone. So it's also just to have that first step to get started, to watch the number grow and just get encouraged to save more, because we millennials, we know well enough how hard it can be to save money and how daunting it can be to do like the usual life things, or things people consider usual life things when they have such high prices. But you gotta get started somewhere, so that's what we're gonna try this year. Is like, we may be limited with what we can do during a pandemic, but we're gonna get started. We're gonna see how far we can go and then start thinking more about what we would actually use the savings for.
Just a couple weeks ago, there was an article talking about the actual prices of flats in Dublin. So the Society of Chartered Surveyors of Ireland did this study where they were looking at the cheapest apartment you can get at the time of their survey in Dublin, and that was 375,000 euros for this apartment. The interesting thing is that if you're a first-time home buyer, you only have to pay 10% of the actual price as a deposit in order to get the mortgage and all that good stuff.
If your salary is high enough.
Yeah. And in this case, the salary you would need is 9600. What's that again? Yes, 96,000. Yeah. If that sounds like a big salary for a couple, we definitely think it is. Even though the article goes on to explain that this should be the mean, the average salary for, a couple. We're here to tell you, nah. It ain't. We prefer to use another measurement.
Because if you take the average and you have someone making an absurd salary, it's gonna mess up the entire average. You're not actually getting the average person in Dublin. But if you look at the median, so where you put everyone's salary in a row and you look at the exact middle value, that gives you a much better idea of what the average person makes in Dublin. And that is significantly lower.
Yeah, I think that from the last report that we saw from 2018, that was about... Yeah, we were about to say the wrong number there. So according to the CSO report, the actual median salary for around 2018 would have been 36,000. So this would make for a couple about 72k as their collective median salary.
So you have this weird situation with the housing market in Dublin where a mortgage could literally be cheaper than the rent you're paying, but at the same time, without that initial upfront deposit, which can be very huge in relation to the salaries, you're not getting that mortgage, so you can't buy and you're stuck renting with increasing rents. And even thinking about for people, because we talk to a lot of people who are currently in the stage of looking for a house or thinking about getting a mortgage, and like even just getting to the point can be so daunting. So we also wanted to give you guys, the people watching our channel, if you are living in Dublin already and thinking maybe about buying a house or flat or even in another part of Ireland, we wanted to give you an idea based off of our salaries for you to also see how much we would be able to save in a year, to give you also an idea, like if that's something you want to do down the line, how much in advance you would have to start planning for it.
Yeah, so this is the exciting part, where this will be our first video we're actually going through. We're going to make these videos each month. I give you an update on how realistic it actually would be. And yeah, I'm kind of excited for it to really see and push, because we get comments and there are people just warning folks like, y'all don't understand how expensive Dublin is. Yeah, we kind of do. We're telling everyone in almost every video how much it is, and if you think about moving to Dublin, other parts of Ireland, less so, but you definitely need to be thinking about money. So this is really going to be an interesting thing to do and see realistically, can someone moving here, living here for a bit, actually do this with their salaries?
So instead of giving you a 10-minute rundown of our exact spending so you can shame us for the things we bought, to simplify it, what we're doing is we'll just give you what we spend on the needs, on the wants, and then what's left over at the end of the month, if we deduct it from our salaries, is our savings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so without further ado, yeah, let's see how our spending went. So we spent...
For January.
Yes, clarify. This is just for January 2021. So we actually spent 46% of our salaries on needs. Yeah, of course, as we mentioned, we moved into a bigger and more expensive place, of which rent is 30% of that. The interesting thing is that, as you can see further down, preface it, it's January, so we actually didn't buy a lot. The heavy buying was in December and so like that. So yeah, these, you don't expect these to be the typical numbers, but it's a start. We spent 6% on wants, which goes directly with what I said before, and 48% on savings. Now, as for savings, that's the money we got left over with, as well as any investments we're doing. So for investments, we do have some ETFs that we try and buy each month, and yeah.
To be fair, what we call salaries is higher this month because it did have bonus payments coming from last year. So since it's always a bit delayed with the bonus, it kind of is income from last year, but we count it when it hits the bank account, and that just happened to be this month. So our salaries were also higher because of that. So not a typical month, but a motivational start to begin the year with.
Yeah, it can only go downhill from here. Yeah, so that's where we are, how we're starting. We'll continue to give like updates of little things that will happen. Already for February, we can tell you that, you know, these numbers are going to change. Stuff has happened. So, closing laptop time. Oh. There's a bed there. I'm not that callous.
The savings weren't that high. So we just realized we forgot the actual numbers, so let's get the laptop back. So our actual savings for January were €3,171, which is a lot in relation to last year's savings. It's not a fire alarm. Well done us, let's hope it stays that way and we don't end up using the money for other things throughout the year. So that was our update for January. We'll do a monthly update like this, and hopefully each month there might be a little lessons learned about how we increase our savings, or maybe just different things that we learn as we go along, and try to see how much we can save within a year without like restricting our lifestyle too much as well. So maybe if there's something you personally were hoping to save for, you've been kind of maybe putting off because it seems too daunting, this is an invitation. Join us
to take over the world. Okay, to save money. That's enough.
That's enough. That's enough steps to already like saving enough money is already a big step. So feel free to join us and come back for the monthly updates. Let us know in the comments how you're getting on, the things you're learning, so we can all learn from each other.
Yep. And me bid you adieu until next week. See you later. Bis später.
Bye!